Hi everyone and welcome to Amy Learns to Cook. On the show today, we're going to put the commercial KitchenAid 8-quart mixer to the test by making 4 loaves of bread. Now I unboxed this a couple months ago near Christmas and now we're going to put it to the test. So join me as we test out the commercial KitchenAid 8-quart mixer. Okay, so we have our KitchenAid. This is the commercial version. It's an 8-quart, and we are going to put this to the test, right? So we have our dough hook. What's great about this is the dough hook, all the pieces are stainless steel because this mixer is NSF certified, which means that it can be used in a commercial kitchen. And NSF is basically a measure of something that can be adequately sanitized. And these can go in the dishwasher and they can be completely sanitized. So we're going to put our dough hook on there, and we're just going to start out with a half a cup of 110-degree water. We're going to proof our yeast first. This step isn't totally necessary. I don't do it all the time. And it still comes out fine, but I just figured I would proof our yeast today. So I put the yeast in there and I have 9 teaspoons of yeast. And I'm just going to give it a quick little stir. So we're going to be using 4 tablespoons of sugar. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put like 2 teaspoons of it in here so we can feed our yeast. Your yeast needs something to feed on, and we're going to use that sugar as a little wake me up for the yeast. So we're going to go ahead and let this sit. I ended up putting a cup of water in here, not just a half a cup, because it's so much yeast and it's a lot more than what I'm used to using. So I'm basically doubling a recipe that I use frequently. And this bowl is so deep. So I put in 1 of our cups in here so we can proof the yeast. So now we're ready to make our bread. And we put 1 cup of 110-degree water. We're going to put 2 more for a total of 3 cups. And this is going to use a lot of ingredients because we're making a lot of bread. Now I'm going to put in the rest of our sugar. We had 4 tablespoons of sugar. I put in 2, but we're just going to go ahead and put in the rest of it. So we're also going to put in 4 teaspoons of salt. We're also going to put in 4 eggs. Woo! And we're going to put in 4 tablespoons of softened butter. I softened this in the microwave. It's best to take your butter out and leave it out at room temperature because then it's not quite so soft. But if you didn't do that, you can obviously do it in the microwave. My microwave has a little butter soften button for it. So let's go ahead and lift this up and get this going. We're going to put in 2 cups of nonfat dry milk. And we're going to let that go just a minute to mix in, and we're going to put in our flour. So we have a lot of flour to put in. We are going to be putting about 11 to 12 cups of flour in here. A lot of bread takes a lot of flour. So we're just going to put it in here and let this baby knead as we get it in here. This is going to make a nice, soft, basically a sandwich loaf. And how much flour you use really just depends on a lot of factors. How dry your flour is, if you put exactly the amount of water in there, your humidity. So you always have to adjust. No matter what bread you make, you always have to adjust your final dough ball. So I've put 10 cups in so far. So we're going to start this off and then we're going to adjust it as we need to. So we're going to do this on a low speed and we're going to watch and see how the mixer performs. There's a lot of flour in here and so far this baby is just humming along. I think with this amount of flour my Pro 6 would be already having problems. And the mixer is just doing a great job. Sometimes you'll notice a little hesitation when the beater goes around. It'll slightly stop when the dough gets stuck between the beater and the edge of the pan, the bowl. The bottom line is, if a mixer's good, is if it can overcome that, because no matter what kind of a mixer you have that has this kind of action, it will slip into that. And the question is, does it bog the motor? But this, the motor seems to be doing really well. And we're just going to test this really quick to see how this dough is. Put it on a board and see how it looks. It looks like a really, really nice dough. So we have our dough here. Wow, it's a pretty big ball of dough. It's really, really nice. It feels really good. So I'm going to divide this up into loaves. We're going to shape it, cover, we're going to let it rise again, and we're going to bake it off. I'll put a picture of the final bread at the end. My assessment of the commercial KitchenAid, I really like it. I know that it seems a little strange when it comes around and it's like hesitating, and that is because the dough is getting stuck between the dough hook and the wall of the bowl. It did that a little bit more than what I thought that it should. So I'm not totally pleased with that. I think it did a really good job. I think it really can handle it. And if you're not necessarily doing this much dough, it's a really good choice. I would definitely say that it does a better job than the Pro 600. Now, does it do, as some people claim that the Bosch can do, 9 loaves of bread? Number one, I don't do that much, so I really don't need that. But I really think when it comes to bread, I think the Bosch Universal might be able to handle it a little better than the KitchenAid. So I will give Eric to that, because Eric did crown the Bosch the winner of our challenge for our stand mixers. We put it against the Pro 600, and I crowned the KitchenAid. For the home, cook, I think that the Bosch is great for bread. It did good on cookies, but I usually don't do like huge batches like that. So I think maybe, the answer is to get yourself a nice KitchenAid and get yourself a Bosch for your bigger, heavier duty things. The 8 quart is a great mixer to get. You wouldn't make small batches in it. So everybody laughs and says, why do I have so many mixers, right? For me, testing, it's great because I have mixers of all different sizes that can do all kinds of different jobs. So that's sort of why I have a lot of mixers. For the home cook, to have, a commercial KitchenAid, if you're going to do 2 loaves of bread and or a if you're going to do more than that, and then maybe a smaller KitchenAid for cakes and stuff like that would be also a great option. So I'm going to go ahead and divide this up into 4 loaves. I'm going to pan it. We're going to let it rise again, and I'm going to bake it off, and we're going to have us some great bread. So my assessment of the commercial KitchenAid, I give it thumbs up. Not perfect, but I think it did a really good job. So we're going to punch, the dough's been rising, we're going to punch it down and form our loaf, and then we're going to pan the loaf and let it rise again and put it in the oven. And this is the fun part, because your dough is very forgiving. Even if you want to take your emotions out on it, you can, right? So if you're upset about something, or you really wish you just want to punch somebody, you can do that to your dough and you don't even get in trouble for it, right? So here we go. What's wrong, Eric? Look a little nervous. We're going to pan it, and that's going to be a beautiful loaf of bread. So we're going to punch our dough down. We have a nice soft dough ball, and we're just going to punch it down. Ha! I don't know where that came from.